In a historic turning point for India's internal security, the relentless fight against Naxalism is yielding unprecedented results, bringing the decades-long insurgency to the brink of extinction. Believe it or not, that might actually be the truth at this stage. Joining us to look at this, we've got a great panel. We'll come to them in a moment, but first let's listen in to what the Home Minister had said and what top cops are also saying.
भी पिछले कुछ वर्षों में हमने बस्तर के लगभग सभी इलाकों में सुरक्षा वैक्यूम को फिलअप करके और जॉइंट एक्शन प्लान जो भारत सरकार द्वारा हमको दिया गया उसी दिशा के अनुरूप काम करते हुए लगभग सुरक्षा विहीन क्षेत्रों को हमने ऑक्युपाई कर लिया है। बहुत थोड़ा क्षेत्र बचा है जिसको कि हम पूरी तरह से ऑक्युपाई करके और नक्सलवाद को, माओवाद को इस धरती से निर्मूल करने में प्रयासरत है। और इसको जो हमारी समय सीमा दी गई है माननीय केंद्रीय गृह मंत्री द्वारा 31 मार्च 2026 तक, हम उसके पहले ही माओवाद का अंत करने में पूरी तरह कामयाब होंगे। ऐसी हम सबका ऐसे संकल्प है और ऐसी हम सबकी आशा भी है।
मैं सबसे पहले एक बात इस सदन में जिम्मेदारी के साथ बताना चाहता हूं, 21 मार्च 2026 को इस देश से नक्सलवाद समाप्त।
And it does appear that what Amit Shah, the Home Minister, said is going to be achieved perhaps even before that deadline that he'd set up. Joining us now, three excellent officers who have fought Naxal terror and done incredibly well for a long period of time. Ram Nivas, former Director General of Police in Chhattisgarh, MP Nathaniel, Inspector General of Police in the CRPF, and PK Mishra, the Additional Director General of the BSF, retired. Thank you all very much for being with us.
Thank you. Jai Hind.
Jai Hind, Mr. Ram Nivas, let me come to you first. In your opinion, what strategies have really worked, to bring about this reported 70% reduction in Naxal activities in Chhattisgarh since, let's say, about December 2023? And I ask this because all of you have fought against Naxalism at some stage. Why is it that the success has come now? What has been done differently in, let us say, the last 3 to 4 years?
In Bastar, basically, there were 5 areas which were, we can say, there was vacuum of the administration. So the government of India and the state of Chhattisgarh, slowly they occupied that area and covered that. We can have the carpeting security in that area. And after that, there is a proper coordination among all the forces, the CAPF, the Cobra battalions, and then the district reserve force, and basically the local Bastar boys, because in DRG we have recruited Bastar boys and Bastar girls also, and they know each and every area just like the palm of the hand. So the coordinated efforts and then the will of the government of India and the will of the state government, because the same forces were there. But after the Honorable Home Minister, he decided the things and then the operations were carried out in those areas. So technical operations with technical intelligence and ground level intelligence, they have worked very well. And the coordinated efforts, the main hindrance in that or the main problem was the IDs. So the local police and the CAPF, they have found the solution how to avoid these IDs and how to get the intelligence from the local police. So regarding IDs, so that is why so the forces got the successes in that area.
Mr. Nathaniel, now that it does appear that Naxalism, and it's almost unbelievable that I'm saying this, but it does appear that Naxalism in Chhattisgarh might be extinct. Assuming that does happen, how important is it to flood that area with development, flood that with education, flood it with jobs? Bring disenchanted young people, young Indians who have lived under the shadow of terror themselves into a new world, because that's the only way that things can fundamentally change in the minds of people. So how important is that?
Good evening to all your viewers. And before I start off, I would pay homage to the lone DRG Jawan who lost his life in the operation yesterday. Well, as far as development is concerned, it started quite a few months back. The initial way of developing the area was by constructing roads. which was being hindered by the Maoists for a long time, because they do not want development to reach the villages. As the connectivity, as it gets better, then the Maoists will be in trouble. Mainly because the security forces will be able to reach there pretty fast within less time, and moreover, development will also help the people in improving their way of life, their living style, and that would not be helpful to the Maoists. So their sole aim was not to allow the roads to be constructed at any cost. But then the assistance of Border Road Organization, that is under Ministry of Defense, the assistance of BRO was taken, and they did some good work over there. After that, the local contractors were asked to do the work, and they were provided all the security by the CRPF. And because of that, a long stretch of road has been constructed all over the area, because of which the schools have now started opening, the health centers have started operating there. The education now is available to the children through the mobile and laptops also, because of the mobile station that has been set up over there, mobile towers. Because of these developments, the Maoists are quite disturbed also. Because when development comes, the people will start ignoring. The main factor for all this was the establishing of about 200 forward operating bases in these areas. By establishing these forward operating bases, the Maoists were not given the access to the local villagers over there.
Right.
And the villagers also, because of their contact with the security forces, they stopped giving any information to the Maoists, and they sought more help from the security forces. Like you see, Hidma and his lieutenant by name Deva.
Sure.
These two were from Poverty village. And since CRPF camp came nearby, they had to flee from that area. And of late, they were supposed to be in the Karregutta Hills, but somehow they managed to escape from there. So this way, the development has already begun, and the people are enjoying the facility of the development that has come in. Moreover, this has also helped in more Maoists coming forward to surrender.
Yeah.
Because if they surrender, they have a much better life ahead by way of getting houses for their stay, and they would also be taken in the Bastare battalion or local DRG battalion, or even given skill training to be gainfully employed somewhere.
Mr. Mishra,
so started, and it is encouraging the other Maoists also.
Sure, just 1 second, sir, if I can just go across to Mr. Mishra as well, who's been waiting. Mr. Mishra, I think as we talk about this incredible success, the stage where we are in the fight, hopefully against Naxalism, bringing it to an end once and for all, could you reflect for us the incredible losses and sacrifices that any number of state police forces or paramilitary forces have had to go through for decades on end, because that's a sacrifice which we just should never forget about?
Yes. In fact, I'm very happy that the person who was involved in 2010 Dantewada incident, where my boys, 76 boys, they lost their lives. I go back to 2010 and I have visited Dantewada just after a week. And credit goes to this DRG Jawans of 4 districts who could kill that man. That is your Prakash, your Nambala Kesav Rao, your BR Gaganna. That is what Basav Raju is, the B-Tech from Tricolour. And in fact, it's not only that. Along with him, 26 Naxalites who were covering him. They could not escape, all of them could be killed. Now, the CRPF was also telling, we have to go back to this Black Forest, Ops Black Forest, and Ops KGH, Karregutta Hills. Mm-hmm. If we go to Karregutta Hills and you see the operation which continued by DRG and STF and CRPF in Telangana, Chhattisgarh border, look at the area. It was 60 kilometers in length and 5 to 20 kilometers in breadth, having 120 or 125 bunkers, having a Naxalite hospital with four ID training institutions in that, and lathe machine to prepare RGLs and other ammunitions there, and a provided explosive device training was imparted by Basparaj, and he was training this Naxalite. It was such a tremendous operation because of this DRG and STF and Cobra unit and CRPF they carried out at Karregutta Hills. Thanks, it continued for 24 days. But of course, we know Hidma has escaped and he might have gone towards Telangana because perhaps they were in small group, they escaped and 31 of them were killed. But I can well tell you the development which takes place. I had been to Darbaghat incident just where Mr. V.C. Tricolour was killed along with a lot of Congress leaders. That time what Kankir was, what Tulsi Dogri was, what Narayanpur was, what Bijapur was, that is totally different now. The development has taken place, and that is how the Naxalites, they are in a dilemma. Because the tribals, government has looked after the tribals. And look at the Bastar battalions, the Bastar battalions, the STFs and the SDGs and all these Cobra battalions which have come up. They have taken these young boys and girls from Bastar because they are the son of the soil and daughter of the soil. They know the terrain. They know how to operate. They can penetrate to interior areas and they know the tactics in and out of Naxalites. And when this development took place, as IGCRP was mentioning and earlier our ex-DG was also telling, when the education came up, when the girls, they could join, they could come to the main line, when people, they got communication, road communication, the wireless communication, the mobile towers and educational facilities, they definitely like to be informers, to give information to security forces than to go for the Naxalites. That is how from 200 districts it has come down to 6 to 9. It is oscillating between 6 to 9. And what Mr. Amit Shah has told that yes, not by 31st March, but I am very sure at least in Chhattisgarh, Naxalite Mukt Chhattisgarh will be there by 31st December 2025. I am very sure. Because main thing is MAC, the intelligence coverage. And the sharing of intelligence by different institutions like CRPF, paramilitary forces, DRG, STF, Cobra unit, Telangana, Chhattisgarh, Odisha, Jharkhand, West Bengal, that has come up very nicely. Just see this last Karregutta incident. The Telangana police was ready. The Odisha police was ready. So in that way, development of communication, development of technology in forces, development of bulletproof jackets, development of the weapons, development of using helicopters for evacuation of our casualties, taking the help of heli-bound operations, and also the areas which were not covered when we were going for operation in Abusmar, Dandakar and Bastar. We used to go operate and come back. And a lot of ROPs were being laid, and that is how when ROP used to come back,
road opening parties,
they used to be. But now we have entered to their areas and opened a number of forward operating bases inside the Dandakar, inside Abusmara, inside Saranda, for which they are in turmoil and they don't find a place to train, they don't find a place to bring tribals to join them. That's a drawback now they are facing.
Well, I think it's pretty much over for them, and we've beaten the deadline which the Home Minister had announced, 2026. I think it was the month of March. Let's hope the red terror ends in this country and that there is genuine development. And thank you, gentlemen, for you and for all the men and women that you've commanded and who've paid so much, not just them but their families, to get into a situation now where we are actually having a discussion. It's almost unreal that we should be having a serious discussion on Naxal terror having likely ended.